$60,000 of product walked out of my locked cage. Because I held the night shift keys, everyone assumed it walked out at night. The RFID tags on every item said it left at 4 in the afternoon, through a docked door I never badged. My name is Tasha. I am 29. I run the night shift floor at an electronics distribution warehouse outside Memphis. We move graphics cards, premium phones, the kind of small high-value product that fits in a backpack and sells fast. 3 years in, they gave me the keys to the high-value cage on nights. That was a big deal. It meant they trusted me. I need this job more than most people need a job. I have guardianship of my younger brother. He is 16. Our situation is not the point of this story, except that it is the reason the accusation almost worked. The high-value cage is a locked enclosure inside the warehouse where the expensive product lives. Only a few people have access. On nights, that is me. Everything in the cage is RFID tagged. I will come back to that, because it is the whole story. During the quarterly inventory count, the numbers came up short. About $60,000 of product was missing from the cage. Graphics cards, mostly. The most stealable thing we stock. The day shift operations lead is a man named Rick. He has been at the site 15 years. He runs the day floor, and he runs a tight little group of people who have been there almost as long. When I got the cage keys on nights, the keys he thought should have run through him, he congratulated me with a face that did not match the words. I had learned to keep my distance. When the shortage surfaced, Rick went to the site director. He said that since I held the night cage keys, and since nights have the fewest people watching, the product was most likely going out the back during my shift. And then he did the thing that almost sank me. He mentioned that I had a kid brother to support and money pressure at home, and he let the director draw the obvious conclusion. Keys, opportunity, motive. He did not have to say the word theft. He just laid the 3 things on the table and let them add up. The director called me in. He was careful, not cruel, which was worse, because I could see he half believed it. He told me there was a serious inventory loss, that it traced to the cage I was responsible for on nights, and that he had to ask me directly whether I knew anything about it. The way he said it, I understood that I was one conversation away from being fired for theft. Not laid off. Fired for cause. In this industry that follows you. And a theft accusation, even one that does not get prosecuted, is the kind of thing that could cost me guardianship of my brother. That was the part that made my hands cold. I almost got defensive the way innocent people get defensive, which is to say badly. I almost started insisting I would never, that I am not a thief, that I have never stolen anything in my life. All true. None of it provable. You cannot prove a character. I had watched people try, and I had watched it fail. So I stopped. I want to be honest about that moment, because I think it is the part that matters. Everything in me wanted to plead. To explain what kind of person I am. To make the director see me. But I have watched good people lose those rooms. Pleading is not evidence. Being a good person is not a record. The people who walk out of that office with their job are not the ones who feel the most innocent. They are the ones who can show what actually happened. And I thought about the tags. Every single item in that cage is RFID tagged. It is not a security feature anyone installed to protect me. It is inventory automation. There are RFID readers at the cage door and at every dock door. When a tagged item passes a reader, the system logs it with a timestamp. And when product goes out a dock door, the warehouse management system ties that dock scan to the badge of whoever opened the door. On top of that, the forklifts log their own activity. Every forklift records which badge is operating it, where it goes, and when. None of this was built to catch a thief. It was built so the company always knows where its money is. But the system does not care why it is watching. It just watches. I did not have to argue about when the product left. I could ask the building. I pulled the RFID movement log for the missing graphics card SKUs. I did not have to interpret anything. The tags told a plain story. The missing items left the cage and went out dock door 3 at 4:10 in the afternoon. For 10 p.m. That is day shift. I do not clock in until 10 at night. At 4:10 that afternoon, I was at home making dinner for my brother. Then I pulled the badge log for dock door 3 at 4:10. The badge that opened that door was Rick's. Then I pulled the forklift telematics. The forklift that carried that pallet from the cage area to dock door 3 at 4:08, 2 minutes before the door opened, was operating under Rick's badge. I sat there and looked at the 3 reports. The cage I supposedly emptied at night. The product that left in daylight. The badge that was not mine on every step of it. I had spent the drive-in convinced I would have to talk my way out of this. I did not have to say anything. The building had already said it for me. The product was gone before I ever set foot in the place that day. And the badge on every step of it was his. I did not take this to the director. The director already half believed Rick, and a night supervisor walking in to accuse the 15-year day lead would have sounded exactly like a guilty person flailing. I took it to loss prevention. Loss prevention is corporate security. They do not report to the site operations chain. They report up through their own structure, and their entire job is to figure out where product actually went. I sent the loss prevention manager the RFID movement report, the dock door 3 badge log, and the forklift telematics for that afternoon. One line. I wrote that the timestamps on the missing items all fell during day shift, and that I wanted the actual movement record on file. I attached the 3 reports. I sent it. Loss prevention did what loss prevention does. They cross-checked the tag movements against the door badges against the forklift logs. 3 independent systems, all saying the same thing. The product left at 4:10 in the afternoon, out a door Rick badged, on a forklift Rick drove, hours before my shift began. There was no version of that where I was involved, and only one version of who was. Rick was walked out within the week. The investigation that followed found it had been going on for months, small amounts at first, then bigger, all time to inventory gaps he understood better than anyone because he had been there 15 years. The 60,000 was just the count where it finally got too big to hide. I kept my job. I kept my keys. I kept my brother. The next night, I clocked in at 10 like always. I walked the floor. I unlocked the cage and checked the count the way I do at the start of every shift. The numbers matched. The forklifts beeped somewhere off in the racks. It was an ordinary night, and I went to work.